Shocking truth behind Mungai Eve's explosive Instagram posts that just destroyed Director Trevor. She's threatening to expose receipts that could end his career forever, but what she revealed next will leave you absolutely speechless. Trust me, you haven't heard the full story yet because whatever Mungai Eve just unleashed is shaking the entire Kenyan entertainment scene to its core. Stay tuned because the drama is only getting started. We're diving deep into the explosive war of words.
That's the only option.
Between Kenya's former power couple, Mungai Eve and Director Trevor, and this is after a leaked video's footage surfaced on the internet a few hours ago, where Director Trevor was saying that Mungai Eve should apologize and that she should also ask Kenyans for forgiveness because of her failing online career. What started as subtle jabs has now erupted into a full-blown digital battle, and if Mungai just dropped the bombshell that has everyone talking, she's done staying silent, and what she's threatening to reveal could change everything we thought we knew about their relationship. But before we even get into the juicier part of the detail, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because this story is developing by the hour and you don't want to miss any of the updates. To understand why Eve Mungai's latest post is sending shockwaves through social media, we need to go back to where this drama really began. And trust me, the timeline of events is more twisted than you think. But that is not all. Wait until you see what Director Trevor said that finally pushed Mungai Eve over the edge. Let me paint this picture for you. Director Trevor and Mungai Eve were once the golden couple of Kenyan YouTube. They built an empire together, creating content that millions of Kenyans loved and followed religiously. Their chemistry was undeniable, their content was fire, and the relationship seemed picture perfect. But behind the cameras, cracks were forming. And when they announced about their split, fans were devastated because very many people hoped it was just a rough patch, that they'd work things out, but what nobody expected was the toxic aftermath that would follow. See, breakups in the public eye are never simple. When you have built your brand around being a couple, when millions of Kenyans have invested emotionally in your relationship, the aftermath becomes everyone's business, and that is exactly what happened here. The past few months after their split were relatively quiet. Both Trevor and Mungai Eve seemed to be focusing on their individual careers, trying to rebuild their separate brands. Mungai Eve continued with her interviews and content creation, while Director Trevor worked on his directing projects. But then, something shifted. The silence broke, and what came next was a series of passive-aggressive posts, subtle digs, and public statements that painted a very different picture of their relationship. Now, here is where things get really messy. And I need you to pay close attention because this is where the current drama really stems from. About a week ago, rumors started circulating on social media that Eve Mungai was depressed and regretting her decision on leaving Director Trevor. They were not just random gossip, they were specific quotes allegedly from Eve herself, saying things like, "I regret leaving Director Trevor. My friends convinced me to leave him, but now that things have gone bad, they have disappeared. I'm hoping he will forgive me because I'm in serious depression." But here is the plot twist that nobody saw coming. Mungai Eve came out swinging, completely denying these quotes. She took to her Instagram stories with a message that was both powerful and telling. She wrote, "Some people visit my past more than I do. I don't live there anymore. I sold the whole building." Can you feel the sass in that statement? Mungai Eve wasn't just denying the rumors. She was making it clear that she had completely moved on from that chapter of her life. She called the circulating quotes very fake news and laughable, but the damage was already done. The rumors had spread like wildfire across Kenyan social media, and everyone was talking about it. Some fans felt sorry for Eve Mungai, others criticized her, and very many were just confused about what was really going on. That is when Director Trevor decided to break his silence, and let me tell you, what he said next lit the fuse that would eventually explode into today's drama. But wait until you hear what Trevor's conditions were for helping Mungai Eve. You won't believe the audacity. This is where Director Trevor made what might be the biggest mistake of his entire situation. Instead of staying quiet or showing support for his ex-girlfriend during these difficult rumors, Director Trevor decided to give his opinion. And boy, did he have his opinions? In an interview with IQ Watson, Director Trevor addressed the depression rumors, but instead of dismissing them compassionately, he used it as an opportunity to lecture Mungai Eve about her public image. He said that Kenyans were punishing Mungai Eve because she had allegedly portrayed herself as a superior to them. That wasn't the worst part. Director Trevor then went on to reveal what he believed was Mungai Eve's greatest mistake, and this is where it gets really ugly. According to Director Trevor, Mungai Eve had made the error of telling Kenyans that she couldn't date a man earning below $500,000 shillings per month. He claimed that this statement had made her followers feel looked down upon. He said, and I quote, "The mistake she made was to show Kenyans that she is better than they are. How many men can afford that kind of money?" Can you believe the nerve? Here is a woman dealing with false depression rumors, and instead of supporting her, her ex-boyfriend is out here analyzing her dating preferences and telling her she needs to apologize to the entire country. But Trevor wasn't done. He then made a statement that would prove to be the final straw for Eve. He said that content creators and artists should avoid interview with bloggers because they don't benefit their careers. While he didn't mention Mungai Eve by name, in this particular statement, the implication was clear. He was essentially saying that Mungai Eve's work as an interviewer was worthless. And then came the most condescending part of all this. Director Trevor actually had the audacity to say that he would be willing to support Mungai Eve, but only under certain conditions. He positioned himself as some kind of savior who could help his struggling ex-girlfriend if she just met his requirements. The arrogance was off the charts. Here's a man who built his career partially through his association with Mungai Eve, now acting like he's doing her a favor by potentially offering support. The Kenyan social media space was buzzing with opinions, but everyone was waiting for one thing: Mungai Eve's response. Little did we know, if Mungai was watching everything, taking notes and preparing what would become one of the most savage clapbacks in recent Kenyan social media history. And then it happened, the moment that everyone had been waiting for. Even if they didn't know it yet, Mungai Eve had had enough, and she was ready to set the record straight and once and for all. Taking to her Instagram stories, Eve Mungai posted what can only be described as a digital declaration of war. Her message was short, but it packed more punch than a heavyweight boxer. She wrote, "Meet to that one guy who keeps dragging my name into nonsense, forgetting we both know the truth. Don't mistake my silence for weakness. I got receipts." Let me break down why this post is absolutely devastating for Trevor, because every single word was chosen for maximum impact. First, notice how she didn't even mention Trevor by name. She called him that one guy, reducing him from her ex-boyfriend, her former business partner, someone who was once significant in her life, to just that one guy. The level of dismissal in that phrase is ice cold. Then she said, "Who keeps dragging my name into nonsense?" This is Mungai Eve pointing out that Trevor has been consistently bringing her up in interview and post, making her part of conversations where she doesn't belong. She's calling out his obsession with continuing to reference their past. But here's the nuclear part: forgetting we both know the truth. This line is loaded with implications. Eve is suggesting that there are things that happened in their relationship that Director Trevor is conveniently forgetting or misrepresenting. She's hinting that his public narrative doesn't match the reality of what actually went down between them. Don't mistake my silence for weakness. This is Eve explaining that just because she hasn't been responding to his jabs and comments doesn't mean she doesn't care, or she can't, or she won't. She has been choosing to stay quiet, but that silence shouldn't be interpreted as inability to defend herself. And then comes the knocking punch: "I got receipts." In the age of social media, where someone says they have receipts, that means they have proof, screenshots, recordings, messages, photo evidence that can back up their claims and potentially destroy the other person's reputation. Mungai Eve isn't just threatening to clap back with words, she's threatening to expose actual evidence that could completely change the public's perception of their relationship and the breakup. The post immediately went viral. Within hours, it was being shared across all social media platforms, with everyone trying to decode what these receipts might contain. The comment sections were on fire, with fans taking sides and speculating about what explosive information Mungai Eve might be sitting on. Mungai Eve's response strategy shows a level of calculation that suggests that she has been thinking about this for quite a while. The phrase, "Don't mistake my silence for weakness," indicates that she is aware of how her quietness might be perceived as, and consciously choosing not to engage until now. The fact that she waited until Director Trevor had made multiple statements before responding suggests that she is building a case for why her eventful response is justified. What do you think about Mungai Eve's approach? Was she right to finally speak out, or should Mungai Eve have continued taking the high road? And more importantly, do you think she's actually releasing those receipts? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one of them and I am genuinely curious about your take on this situation. If you found this breakdown helpful and want to stay updated on this developing story, make sure that you subscribed with notifications turned on, because this drama is far from over and you don't want to miss any developments. Well, we'll be covering every twist and turn as they happen. Hit that like button if you're Team Eve, or leave a comment if you think Trevor has a point, and share this video with anyone who has been following this drama. Trust me, they'll want to see this complete breakdown of what really happened. Remember, in the world of social media drama, silence isn't always golden, and sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't what you say, it's what you threaten to reveal. Until next time, keep watching, keep analyzing, and keep questioning the narrative you see online. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll be covering whatever explosive development come next in the ongoing saga.